Let's welcome in head coach Pete Carroll. And, Coach, you got off to a 6-3 lead. Your game plan out of the gate was working. You had good energy. The players were ready to play. What happened after that in the second quarter?
Well, we ran into a bit of a buzzsaw. They did a nice job on offense. This offense is really well-skilled and well-designed, and they've got experience at the leadership and big playmakers, and the running back ran really well, and the offensive line played well. So we were up against it, and we got a couple stops, and then we just needed to just keep getting them. We needed to keep putting the offense back out there. And because of the fact that we were unable to score when we got in the scoring zone inside the 30 and all that, it just mounted, and now we were playing from behind. And so it felt comfortable early. We felt like we knew what we were doing. We were popping the ball around. Gino was on the money with throwing game and got us some chunk plays and moved the field. But it was like the freaking wall, when we got down about the 30-yard line. And so we have to do better down there and execute and get more than field goals.
There's a lot of talk about Ashton's limited touches, but it's down in distance if you're trailing. When you come out in that game and want to get him going before a 3-and-out or a turnover, how do you fix that with him going forward so he has more help to just get off to a bigger start?
Well, we did want to throw the ball early, and we wanted to go after these guys a little bit and see if we could, knowing that it was going to be a hard game to stop them, their top offense and all that. So that was part of it, and we hoped to work our way into the running game, but the score went the other way, and put us behind enough where it kept us in the mode that we have to keep throwing the football down the field some. So, on that night, he doesn't get the football as much. We did throw the ball to him well, and he did some nice stuff with that, but just not enough for the balance that you like. The balance doesn't have to happen in the first quarter. The balance has to happen by the time you make it through the game, and sometimes the game dictates opportunities, and you got to take advantage of them. And I thought Gino and the receivers and Brock and the fellas were doing a nice job of making some plays for us and moving the field. But again, like we said, we didn't get the finish of those drives to really cash in.
You mentioned that there's still a competition up front on the offensive line. That's going to remain that way. How do they get a little bit better at practice so Gino has more time in the red zone? Just that half a second more to hold their block, or maybe move him around outside the pocket so the end zone plays can develop?
Yeah, well, first off, every week is a competitive week for these guys, and we're rotating them against different guys so that we can make sure and make good assessments. We did that in depth last week with an extra day to make sure that we were getting turns for guys, and we're looking at who they're going against. We'll put some guys on the 2 so they can go against the 1s, and all of that, and then just take in all of the information and make a decision. That's kind of how we do it. But there was focus on the competition at the guard spot for sure, and the center spot as it turned out, because we gave Jordan a chance to show us what he could do at guard again, because he had such a good solid year last year, and so we'll continue to do that. That's how you do it, and it's not like we just make a call out of the dark. We're working at showing the film and making sure the guys can get their moments. The one-on-one competitions and pass rush, all of that counts, and so it's hand in hand with the way we approach our football anyway. But this is how you make an evaluation when you have to make a change.
And you make that evaluation on the defensive line. Max had a big strip sack that kind of changed the game. He didn't capitalize. It was a field goal there, but the competition from the other defensive linemen and edge rushers to kind of get more production out of them, knowing their talent level when they could have a couple of breakout games coming up here.
Yeah, you saw Tonka got some good work in this game. Unfortunately, Jonah got knocked out of the game and couldn't finish, so it loaded up the reps for the guys inside. But I think Thomas Booker probably played his best game.
Okay.
He was the most consistent he's been, and made 4 or 5 tackles in a run game that were really good and effective. Looked like he played his best technique game, so he answered the call. But we continue to try to rotate him. We're trying to get more from Malcolm and from Tyree to help us on the edge, and we mix those guys around. You saw Tyree rush inside and outside. He had a nice game, made some good tackles on the perimeter. He's really he's been a factor in pursuit. So the guys are making statements for themselves, but we got to make the plays to help us. We need to really create the kind of activity that we get so much from Max, but we need more.
Last one on the game, you talked about Pickens. He was a monster in the game. Yeah. He was hard to bring down. In hindsight, trying to tackle, one of your strengths is always, one of your many strengths is preaching and teaching tackling. So coming off that game on a short week, getting the tackling going again to be a little bit more secure.
Yeah, well, you got to give a lot of credit to Pickens, man. He was hard to get down. He was the guy that was creating the missed tackles, and so I don't know that we underestimated him. We didn't realize how hard it would be to get him on the ground. Because we missed clean one-on-ones, and then the second man in was a challenge as well. And he did a great job running after catch. And if we're playing him again, we would just be more focused on gang tackling him and making sure there was more than one guy. He was really difficult to get down on one-on-one situations. And why? Because he's really strong. He's long and athletic, and he's got a mentality about him that he just does not go down easy, and he's not going to take an easy way out on the tackle. So that was a big factor in the game. There's 3 big slant routes he caught that he turned into plays. There was a curl route that he whipped out back outside and got off and got up the sidelines on us that were just really unusual plays. And so we'll do the work that we need to, but sometimes you have to. It takes a special focus for a special player, and he called for it.
Let's start with Myles Garrett. I mean, he's been one of the greatest players in this league historically here. He's got 15 sacks and the ability to kind of chip him and slow him down in this game. He is a really tough game wrecker, as you talk about, with a lot of players when we sit down.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of everything to slow him down. We're going to stay away from him. We're going to have to double him up. We're going to have to double him and sometimes still chip him again. There's a lot of things that you have to do so that he can't control the football game. It's like we see from Max. If you notice, the game gets shifted away from Max. So much of it, they run away from him and they always double him. Rarely does he get single blocked, and that's the kind of attention that great players draw. And this guy's loaded, man. He's really something.
2 rookie quarterbacks, you don't know who you're going to get until later on in the week. Gabriel had a lot of snaps, one of those quarterbacks that had all those snaps in college. And then Shedeur, who's just got good athletic ability. As you look at both these quarterbacks and how your coaching staff's going to prepare.
Yeah, we've watched those guys a lot, and in going through the draft and all that process, we were, we zeroed in on those guys. So I know Dylan well, and Shedeur has had a tremendous background of success and all. I know he struggled a little bit the other day, but we've got to know because they're really different players, and they played kind of with a different mentality and all of that. So we'll have to get adapted. I'm not ready to tell you all about that yet because it's just the first morning. But we'll zero in on those guys and try not to let them get started.
Last one, their coach, and Kevin Stefanski competing against him in the past. A 2-time coach of the year, even on some teams that struggled. It just seems like he's a guy, knows the league inside and out. And in a chess game with you and Patrick Graham, this is a fun one, knowing his ability to call plays.
Yeah, he's had great success, and even in seasons when they've struggled, he stood out, and so his input and all. So we got to get ready for him. We're not really deep into that plan yet, but I know that they have the volatility and they've got the background to really make it hard on you. So we got to be right.
Coach, last one as always, your message to the fans coming off that game.
Yeah, well, you could see that there was a factor in the stadium. There was a lot of Dallas people there in that stadium, and but it was a lively game. It was loud, and it was the kind of atmosphere that we like. Unfortunately, they had something to do with it, but we just need them to keep coming back. We need to give them reason. I know I keep telling you, and so we're going to have to work hand in hand when the day arrives, and that they know that they got a club that they can count on winning, and this place is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a phenomenal place to play, and we need to up that factor as much as we can. But I know we have to do it with the play that we bring to it. So we're working together at that, I hope.
Thank you, Coach.